Thank you very much. I obviously am very also happy and very honored to be here with you in this panel. So thank you very much, Dr. Ingrid, and my esteemed colleagues as well. So as a segue, obviously the framework that is now we envision like this as a global framework, right? So it's basically what Heather or taking what Heather was telling. What we see is now like Web3 as the ideal kind of legal tech stack for differentiating which data can be used or cannot be used for training an AI or different use cases, right? So what I think what the trend that we are seeing is how can we use the smart contracts as service level agreements for specific data, right? So this is, I think, it's a trend that needs to be having more importance every single day, because again, now the question is how we're going to use the AI is already answered. I think like that's the threshold we passed according to Heather, and I do agree. Now the question is, what data can we use, right? And specifically in terms of the healthcare space, is if the patient, or as we call in the genomics space, the data owner of, let's say, a DNA or RNA data set, are they really consenting for AI processing? So I think this is the main focus for us, at least, is how can we separate the public data sets from the private data sets, and then try to integrate the patient in this equation, right? It's going to be very challenging, but I think now the good news is that we have the tools. And this, again, in the frameworks of what's going on, just want to mention that the FDA also gave us good news, because now they have what they call a clinical decision support software, which they are admitting is not a medical device, which is really good in terms of the of the license or the regulations that you require. This is an exemption. So now I think we can build a lot of clinical decision support software that is like preclinical, that will help a lot in the next stages. But the main thing for us would be to legalize the data. Is again, this is for me like the most important thing we should focus on 2024. Thank you very much, Dr. Ingrid. So just very briefly, so this is basically what we do as a business. So we want to help people to first obviously claim ownership using an NFT. Basically, we create a digital twin of every human biosample, and then we create a governance structure around it, right? As Heather was saying, is like using the same analog is like micro policies, but now they are embedded into a blockchain smart contract. With one of the main ideas is, if we cease to exist as a company, our main objective is that the ownership and all these micro agreements or service level agreements or policies, permissions, consents, I mean, there's a broad use case, will still persist in the public blockchain. So this is very important for us, is that even without our existence, the protocol will maintain, and that's what we call decentralized biosample governance, right? So this is our core business. Now, the main challenge today is how we not only keep secure and decentralized in terms of the governance these biosample derived data sets like DNA, RNA, microbiome, and so on and so forth. And then is how we can give utility, right? How can we also give, in a secure environment, the space for the patient to leverage these emerging generative AI, like for instance, ChatGPT, right? Or Time GPT, or now there's Gene GPT, et cetera, et cetera. And these will just come every day. So the main idea is how can we use confidential compute methods, as Heather also was mentioning, like federated learning and all these techniques, to enable people to interact, to have conversations with their own data. That's now our main mission. So just simply this morning, we just launched the first AI-driven kit, so for students, right? So we think this is a fantastic tool. So we can use this to give a student, right, so they can sequence or genotype their own data and then use it as the main material to learn bioinformatics or learn genomics, or just to explore what's in the DNA, guided by an AI, right? So I think we wouldn't be able to offer this without the innovation or the popularity of AIs. So that's what we do. Now, the main challenge lies very graphically here, right? Because this is a card where 12 words needs to be written, and it's a Web3 passkey or passphrase. So the main challenge is, if you want privacy, if you want data ownership, you need to learn how to use a wallet, right? A Web3 wallet. So we know the world is not like 0 or 1, like very, So now we are kind of being into a hybrid system where you can still use your legacy credentials, the email and password, but at the same time, using your own biosample, you create a wallet. So you can, we are transitioning from the custodial world to a non-custodial world. I give an example like the Coinbase and the wallet of Coinbase, right? There are two separate products. Coinbase, it's a custodial wallet, so they will keep your private key for your safe. It's recoverable, but it's the least secure, the least independent, right? And then you have the wallet of Coinbase that will give you your passphrase and you're on your own, right? And there are pros and cons, but this is the main challenge for us, is like, how can we help more people in the healthcare and genomic space to leverage the public key infrastructure, the new Web3 infrastructure, in order to make it more secure and more decentralized. So we are there. But I think it's going to take a little bit more of time. The consciousness of the individual about the importance of their data. So we've been saying this since, I don't know, forever, like 2017. And especially based on my experience, I am a father of a kid that has a rare disease. So we have a rare disease in the family. So for us, it's evident. But besides that community, I think the same importance as we acquire because of necessity, right? It's going to be more and more normalized into the consumer, right? Now people is really asking, like, what are companies or consortiums, or what are they going to do with my data, right? And this is our core value. So that's still going to happen. I think it's going to be more and more important. And that's why, again, we are focusing on the personal agents, right? So we talk about like a lot of these artificial intelligence tools, but now we're focusing on how can we empower the individual, right? So now they can be able to harness the data. And now how can we give access or democratize the access to an API to a very powerful generative artificial intelligence, so they can have...
You're not allowed to say AI.
Sorry. But the main thing is, or to insights, right? Or even to collaborate, right? As Heather was saying, in this ecosystem, how can we really plug the patient in these ecosystems to give them dignity and policy over the data. The picture that I'm seeing comes again from Apple, right? Apple just announced the M3 new computer, but in one of the images you have a DNA sequencer from Oxford Nanopore. So for me, that's 2024 right there, because I've used that same instrument to sequence fragments of my own DNA. I mean, with awful results, but I had no idea before, right? To how to extract DNA, how to plug it into my own computer, and then try to analyze it. But now again, the computer is now powerful enough to analyze these data sets. So everything that Heather said, like, hey, the individual now has the tools to have a very powerful voice. And that's I want to see that more and more in 2024 as well.